to the Hub 4 Elements of Creation, call number 2, where we're going to talk about choice. And I would really love to invite all of us to whatever time of day it is for you. Some of us it's like late, and some of us it's early, and some of us it's afternoon. But whatever's occurred in your day today or your nighttime, whatever kinds of encounters you've had with people or things that have come up that you've, looked at and dealt with, whatever, would we be willing to just return everything that's not ours to sender and to actually choose the being of you, choose the space of you, choose you? And would you notice that when you just put your attention on something and go, oh, there's all this stuff playing, but I'm going to choose being, I'm going to choose the space of me, just like that, it changes. Boom, just like that. So we're going to talk about choice today. And we're going to talk about how when we make a choice, when we really, really make a choice, things start to change, boom, just like that. So the first element of creation that we looked at last week was question. And when we ask a question, doors open up and possibilities open up and things we've never ever considered before. All of a sudden it's like, ooh, never thought about that. Ooh, never saw that. And all of these things open up when we begin to ask questions rather than looking for the answers. And then as these possibilities become available, we have choice. And most of us were not taught to actually choose when we were growing up. Everybody chose for us, right? They told us what to eat. They told us what to wear. They told us how to dress. If you're one of the ones that didn't have that, yay on you. But a lot of us, we were not actually given the space to choose and then be aware of our choices and what they created. We were given rules. We were given right and wrong. And we were told to make good choices, not bad choices. Do the right thing, don't do the wrong thing. And so then as we grow up and we start to navigate our life, we are like in this little box and confined from actually being able to choose and create, because we run through this litany of, well, is this an okay choice? Is this a good choice? Is this a bad choice? Is this a choice I'm supposed to make? Is this a choice everyone else wants me to make? And blah, 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 blah. Is that like familiar to anyone besides me? So then we get these 4 elements of creation and we begin to see that, whoa, I actually get to choose. And if I took away that there were good choices and bad choices, if I took away that I could actually fuck this up and I could really make a bad choice and it could be just screwed up forever, and actually gave ourselves the space and permission to choose without any judgment of whether it was a good choice or bad choice, just to choose, and then to be aware of what that choice created, and then to choose again, how different would our lives be? So I would like to kick off this conversation with all of these awesome facilitators and ask you, what is your experience with choice? Like, was it something that you did grow up having? Or if not, when did you actually come to see that you could have choice? And what has that created for you and your life today? And whoever wants to jump first, just jump or raise your hand or whatever you would like to do. Francesca.
Hi guys, hopefully it's not too noisy. So thank you for that, because I have a bit of tears in my eyes, how much, the difference now lately about choices is that even if I do a quote unquote fucked up choice, I am not judging myself anymore. It's mainly that, well, what is right about this? What are awareness? And really getting what Gary's saying, like there are not good or bad choices. Every choice creates awarenesses, right? But when you were asking the fact that, when did you acknowledge, when did you realize that really you have choices? We always had choices. But in a way or in the other, even when we thought that we were like manipulated from someone else or something else, so we were doing choices based on someone else's desires and not ours, I get it that also those were choices, you know what I mean? That actually brought us to a different level of demand for myself, actually, because also when I was choosing things that wasn't really based on what my life will be if I choose this, was more like, okay, what other people's life will be if I'm choosing this? That was the main one. I was keep choosing that. So, and this is like the, lately really getting that there is a special thing I'm perceiving lately, really, after, I will say also after this last CF class I've done here in Costa Rica, and after the Joy of Business class as well I've done in Venice, they really, I really realized that if you really desire to create, you have to connect with the energy of the future and asking, what do you desire to create in your life? Because most of the time, one of the lately things I have been discovering about myself is that mainly probably I was creating, of course, a future, because we are all contributing to the planet. We are all contributing to, you know, the universal consciousness, or how you want to call it. But are we really truly connecting with the whatever we desire to create in our future, right? And sometimes it scares the most, because when you ask the question, it opens up to so many different things, and you have to look at them and say, okay, so that's it. And maybe
Yeah.
it's very noisy here, right?
Yeah, but we heard you just fine. It was perfect.
So
Thank
that's
you.
fine. So I'm very excited, I would say. And I don't know how my life will look like in the next 6 months, but there is a click that happening about these things about choices that I thought I was like, oh, I know what choice is. Actually, I didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. And I love what you said about not even knowing sometimes what it is that we would choose. And we are so good at reading everyone else around us, what they desired, what they demanded, what they required. And so many of us got to the point where we stopped asking, what do I desire, to the point we didn't even let ourselves know. So a first step is to actually go, I can actually get clear on what I desire as my life, as my living, what I would like it to be. And then from there I can choose. And that's a new space for a lot of us. So thank you for that, Francesca. So somebody else, what would you like to say about choice and your experience with choice?
Choice for myself got a lot easier watching a horse choose and how easy they choose. It was just ask the horse a question and they changed. Like I've seen horses change their bodies, their body shape, the energy in milliseconds. Like we say choice in 10 seconds, they're milliseconds. Like we can't even count how quick they choose it. So that was really fun. And it changed how the ease of choice got a lot simpler. And then trying to make the right choice, that changed, is taking the judgment out of the choice, making the right choice, getting worried about getting it wrong, because they'll make a choice and then they can change direction with ease. So choice just got a whole lot easier playing with horses with me.
That's super cool. Thank you. And what if it's that fast for us? The moment we put our attention on it, just like how we started off the call and went, oh, whatever's going on, I'm going to be here right now. What if it is that simple and quick for us when we actually go, oh, I can have that? Okay, I'll have that. Yes, thank you. Cool.
You know, I love that Francesca was talking about being aware of what you desire in the future, you know? And I just listened to a call with Simone, or a piece of her JOB in Paris. And she was asking the question, what is your ask, right? So we talk about choice and access with question, right? Brings up different possibilities. But if you're clear what you're asking for in your future, there's a vibration to that, right? So like the horses, right? When you choose, you're choosing something that is vibrationally compatible, is congruent with that ask, with that question about what you'd like in your future. And it becomes really easy. I remember I was facilitating for years. Oh yes, question, choice, possibility, contribution. And then one year I was like, what the heck is choice?
Right?
It's like the most simple questions. Oh, how does it get any better than that? Right, right. What the heck is choice? And that really is, I love that image I got when you mentioned the horse. Your body can help you recognize the choices that are in line, that are congruent with the vibration you'd like to have more of in your life.
Yeah, I love that too.
And
Danielle, yes.
yeah, for me, what's interesting is I thought I knew what choice was before I started working with Access and Right Body for You tools. And I never realized that I never took me into consideration in any choice, that I was actually a part of the future, you know. And so for me with Right Body for You tools, when I started including my body into things, and then I started including me into things, into my choices that created my life, which actually then changed the world as well. So it was really interesting how much, and so many of us function from that place of like, when we do make a choice, we are nowhere in there. When we make a choice, it's supposed to be for somebody else. When we make a choice, because we are so good, like somebody here said about knowing what other people desire and require. And then I was also taught as a kid, it's only supposed to be about other people, never about yourself. And so personally completely excluded myself from any possible future, and well, any part of my life actually, because it was always for other people. And so it was really interesting to see how much, not just my world, but the world expanded when I actually started putting me into the equation of my choices, because all of us are included. And so when I didn't include me, it was a huge piece missing. That consciousness in the world was, and my body was even kind of going, hello, you're missing this part. You might want to include you too. You're part of this whole thing. And so, you know, it goes against what we're saying about including you, or it goes against what we've been taught about including you in the choice for things in your life. Even it was really interesting. And like I said, it's expanded my world, other people's worlds, when I actually include me in the computation of my choices. So yeah, for me, that was one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and it's so, I'm gonna say funny, but not really when you say that, but it is, how much do we function from choosing based on everyone else, and we're nowhere in it. So, and like you said, we can't actually connect to the future or create the future if we're not in it. So thank you for that. Yes.
And for me, especially in my youth, there was not even a choice. I always had to make decisions, you know, and every decision is a final place where you don't have to choose again. So you have to decide what you want. And the worst thing was either or. Either you go to school or you go to work. Either you go this way or that way. And nothing was happening in between. So I felt myself always lost, because I never could choose, and I didn't know how to choose, because all decisions could be bad, for example, and you never knew where you will be in the future. So everybody says, if you make this decision, you have to see where you are in 5 years and be serious. So I think since I met Gary and Dane and joined Access, choice for me became such a huge thing, and is now for me like a perpetuum mobile. So it's a choice, and you can do next choice and the next choice, and it's a never ending thing. So if I do choices which are not bringing the outcome I just want to have, you choose again. And these are as well the 10-second increments, as Gary always says. You can choose and choose again. And so it's a wonderful tool which sets you free, and as well in my business, which sets everybody else free I'm working with in coaching or in strategic work or whatever I'm doing. It's a great gift. So choose.
Yes, thank you. Choose and choose again. Susie.
I just wanted to say that for me, the hardest thing about choice has actually been to even know what it is that I would like to ask for and choose. You know, I have to say, like, even to this day, I often can quickly rattle down all the things I don't wish to have, you know, but to really look at what it is that I would like to create in life has been a bigger challenge for me than I had ever really been aware of. And I remember my very first class when Gary said, you know, you have 3 choices, choose now, choose. You die in 10 seconds. What will you choose? You know, and most people could never come up with more than 3 things. Like most people only came up with 1 thing, and then some had 2 and some had 3, but after 3 it was always done. And I was like, wow, this is so wild. People actually don't know what they desire in life. And you know, and I work a lot with people and their animals too, and it is so often too that people always say to me, this is what I don't want my animal to do. You know, I don't want them to bark so much. I don't want them to piss in the house anymore. I don't want them to be aggressive. I don't want this. I don't want that. But they never actually say what they want. Like, well, what is it that you desire from your animal? And the funny thing is, you know, the universe, when we say these things, actually doesn't hear the word don't. So when you wish for the things that you don't want in life, guess what the universe hears? It hears exactly what you're not wishing to create, because the word don't doesn't have any energy or any energetic meaning to it. So if you say, for example, to your horse, don't do that, the horse will do exactly that, because the word don't doesn't eradicate all the information that comes after it. So energetically, the horse picks up exactly what you wish to not create. And so I had to really start looking at that for myself too. How often do I say that to myself? Well, I don't wish to do that, or I don't wish this, or blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, well, what do I actually wish to have or create? And what is it that you are asking for with your animals? You know, instead of saying, don't bark, what could you say to them? You know, hey, I like it peaceful and calm and quiet at home. Oh, that's a different energy than don't bark. So it's just, I just wanted to throw that in there, because so often we find it so easy to rattle down the things that we don't like, you know?
So true. And can I just say, when we're talking about all of these decisions and conclusions that we've come from about choice, where what you just said, Susie, all about what I don't want, or about it's a decision, it's final, I'm locked in, or about I must get this right, I cannot get this wrong. So everything that all of us have decided and concluded that choice is, could we please destroy and uncreate all of it times a godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9, shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you are new to this conversation and are really confused about what I just rattled off, it's called the clearing statement. And I'm not going to go into detail about it. Really simply, what it is you'll notice an energy coming up. The more we've been talking about choice and what we've concluded about it, there's like this crunchy energy. And then we bring it up and we say those words that are the clearing statement, and it's like the vacuum cleaner that just sucks all of that away. And you can go to theclearingstatement.com. Cara just put that in the chat, and you can find out all kinds of more things about it. So thank you all for all of these things, because it is bringing up all of these different energies that we've come to and that we function from with choice. But the awesome thing is, as everybody's pointed out, there's another possibility with it. There's the possibility of choice can be fun, and choice can be quick, and choice can be easy, and choice is only good for 10 seconds, and I can choose, and that didn't work so well, so I'm going to choose something else next time. I don't actually have to judge me. So I would love to talk a little more about that piece, because how many of us have made choices, maybe they were a long time ago, but there's still sort of this sticky judgment about ourselves in regards to that choice, or we really decided we did screw up our life there. If I would have done that instead of that, then I would be here instead of where I am, or whatever. So would anybody like to talk about choices and how we've judged ourselves or locked ourselves in? Yes, Ina, go for it.
It's like amazing. I could see like bit of me in everything that everyone was saying. And to add to that, it was also what really right voice for you, or the tools of access consciousness invited me to, was to have allowance for everything that I'd chosen so far. Because there were so many things that it was very easy, because I always had that sense, I'm not creating enough. I could be creating way more. So my life could be way more. So I always had judgment of what I had chosen so far. And the tools have really helped me to really acknowledge, wow, those choices have brought me here. Like, just for example, I actually, when we had to choose between what career to go down, this career or that career, arts or medical or science, or I got the choice of I really wanted to become an architect and I wanted to get into the spaces. And the whole idea of studying the science and maths and all of that was just not inviting for me. And everyone around me was like, you're going to suck at maths, don't do it. So I'm like, okay. So I made them wrong for years, for not letting me do architecture. But life goes along, and I actually, moved from college. I went to art school. Moved from college. I moved into a house with someone who was an architect, who was studying architecture. And I hung around with a whole lot of architects studying architecture, and I literally educated myself of how to make a drawing, and I didn't even realize I was doing that while hanging out with them, having fun, learning how to working on their assignments, to really moving beyond that to hanging out with friends who were architects and then getting married to one. So, and the fun thing is that now I have an interior architecture design firm. So and I professionally don't have a degree. So it's like, what are the choices that we've made that are actually the brilliance of us? And what if every choice that we've made so far is brilliant and has brought us where we are, that we can even be on this platform and have this conversation, inviting others to choose more of what they can be and what they can choose. And it's like amazing, because I still have choice with it. It's like every day, do I still want to do it? Or do I want to do something different? Or do I want to be something different? So that's really been a gift for me, to get out of judgment of myself and my choices, to really choosing to first acknowledge and be in allowance of everything that I've been choosing so far, and where would I like to go from here.
I love that. And when you stop judging your choices as right or wrong, you actually get to choose and create around what everyone else says are the steps to get where you want to go. So it's like, I'd love to go here. And everybody's like, well, you could choose this, or then you could choose this or this, but you must go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you must jump over this bridge, and then you must do that. And when you stop looking at having to choose according to everyone else's rules, you went around and created what you desired. How cool is that? Thank you. So anybody else want to talk about? Yes, Lale, go.
This one's an interesting one, because it was my adventure from actually 2 days ago. I got on the plane thinking I'm going to go to Costa Rica. And my plane ticket got me to Houston. And then from there is actually San Jose, California, instead of Costa Rica. And it was one of those interesting moments, because, when the guy was like, I'm sorry, we can't get you on anything. We might be able to do it. It'll cost you $2,000 to change it to be on standby tonight. And I can't even get you back on the 23rd. And it was that moment of instant choice. And it was like, I didn't panic, which I'm so grateful for these tools. And I'm representing Right Riches for You. Our new title is Wealth Creators Anonymous. And it was interesting. It's like, okay, I so desired to be at El Agar, which is this property in Costa Rica. Like, I was going to pay $2,000 to get me there for the mistake that I had made when I booked my ticket. But I never went into the wrongness of it. And it was like this tip of a second of, if I go, what are these choices going to create for now and the future? And then if I don't go, what will it create? And it's funny, because I was one of the planners of the El Agar trip. So you would think it would have made sense mentally that I had to be there. But it actually created greater for me, my life, for El Agar, for everyone else that's amazing that I get to play and work with, who, did their own thing and they were able to make it happen. And I spent 24 hours choosing for me and choosing for my business and choosing for my life. And I've got to tell you, my body played a big role in all of this, because my body got me so calm, and I had this space of relaxation that I don't know I've ever experienced in an environment that's normally stressful or gets you because the guy was such a jerk. Like, it was so easy for me to just want to hit him. But it was like, no, let's calm down. Let's get my suitcase off that plane. I'm not going to California. But it was these tools that we take for granted because we say choice or question. But it's like, if you're willing to be in that question and constantly ask, okay, if I choose this, what will this choice create? It's amazing. And I've been asking, and that's the other piece of all this is like, sometimes it's like, I would have never created this on my own, but no, I created this. I created to go to the wrong place because of what I was asking for. Like Cass was talking about, what is your ask? A lot of times we ask and we forget what we're asking for. And what we're actually creating in our lives is these steps, almost these puzzle pieces to get us to exactly what we're asking for. Well, what I got and what I've been demanding of my life and stepping up more, I was able to create that 24 hours in Houston, talking to people, meeting with people that I normally wouldn't have even had the time to meet with, which created for me for now and my future. And so it's one of those things, I think a lot of times when we look at choice, we think it's all something we figured out. I figured out that my choice today is this. No, what did you ask for yesterday or last year that now you're finally receiving? And it's just showing up in such a different way. And, you know, one thing I love about the founders, they always talk about, what if there are no problems? Everything is a possibility. And that's what was going through my head when the guy was being such a jerk. I was just like, if this is not a problem, what possibility is this that I haven't even acknowledged yet? And it did, it really opened it. So I love the stories, and, you know, I adore all the people here, get to play with you guys around the world. And I love how each of us is so different. Our choices are going to be different. Our stories are different, but yet no matter how much I talk about choice in my classes, like your story is just such a contribution to me. So thank you for everyone here. It's just, I love these tools. I don't know what else to say, but thank you.
Thank you. That's amazing. Amazing, amazing. And I love you said you never went into the wrongness of it or of you. And that is huge. So what if we, in committing to our life, we committed to never going to the wrongness of us or of any choice we ever made again?
And Marnie, thanks to Access. Prior to Access, I would have. That would have been the first place I learned from my mom and from my sister and from my dad and from my grandparents. That is the first place I would have gone, is how could I have been so stupid to book the wrong place? I go to Costa Rica all the time. It wasn't. It was like, oh, that's so funny. And do you know there was some problems getting out of the airport today, and I needed to be somewhere today. So it's just interesting how much my body and how much I made those choices without realizing it cognitively, but it actually all worked out to my benefit. So
amazing. And I also love that you pointed out that the guy was a jerk, because where we take ourselves out of choice is the asshole shows up, or the this thing shows up. And then instead of staying in the place of question and choice, we go into the story of the asshole at the airport, and we're no longer in choice and we're no longer in question. So part of choice is recognizing it is 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds, choose. Asshole shows up. I'm going to buy the story, going to be the victim here. Look at this guy. I mean, he's so not understanding. I mean, my God, you could have spent the whole rest of the day in that story, or you could choose, keep choosing. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I jump in here? I mean, how to follow that, I don't know. Lily, absolutely amazing. But the thing you said about like wrongness, and like that, everything that's wrong is actually really a strength and a possibility, is something we look at with X-Men. And X-Men is a speciality that looks at ADD, ADHD, OCD, autism, and all labels and disabilities of illness. And when you are diagnosed with any illness, or you're born with something that has been diagnosed, then that label is like the stigma of your life. No one ever says to you that you created that, but in actual fact you did. You created that in some life. It might not be in this one, but you've chosen it in some life to have this. And is it wrong? Is it a label? Is it a disability? Or is it something that's so unique, so different, that it's never been allowed to be the possibility and that choice that we're asking it to be in this life? And that to me is the beauty of all of these tools. I've known so many people that have been diagnosed with illnesses, and they can't see past, a bit like what Susie said, you know, this choice or that choice. They can't see, you know, the loudness of the disability or the pain in their body. They cannot see past that and choose something else. It's just got to go. And then what the tools open up are actually what all of that label encompasses with the disability, the illness or whatever, is actually a capacity to be something in the world. All of the body processes, process facilitators on here will say that, you know, you jackknife it into your body instead of allowing yourself to be with it in a different way. And that's a gift, to unlock something that's so unique, that's so different. And every single person that's ever had anxiety, depression, low mood, amongst the bigger labels as well, can work with it differently. And these tools are amazing. And I've seen so many people change just by using them. So what choices are available that we've never even had the beauty of being with, that will create something different in our worlds?
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Love it, love it.
Hi, Marnie.
Hi, Norma. Go for it.
Yeah. So choice also, like someone spoke earlier, for me was not an element much present in my childhood. I would often listen things like, when you grow up, then you choose. That was always there. When you grow up, you choose. So it was something like for a distant future somewhere, somehow. And then when I grew up, choice was something like, you know, so threatening, so scary for me. And I was like listening to everyone here, and I would remember those moments in my life so many times when I would say, but I had no other choice. I had to choose that. I had to choose this. It was much more functioning from a no choice world rather than a world where I could actually choose. And the tools of the being you. Oh my God, when I came to use the access tools, I could use the clearing statement and all the tools. And when I heard about choice, that was, again, freezing me. And then when I started playing with that, would choose, okay, what would I choose here? What other choices do I have here? I would just play with those questions. And then things would start changing. And then it's been just phenomenal and amazing. The more I be, the more I can choose. The more I choose, the more I be. And it's so fantastic because it's not a choice like coming from the mind and the cognitive and the heaviness of the decision. It's just, what do it take to have that? How about this? And this lightness and this playfulness is just what these tools are giving me. I'm not telling you that it's completely easy for me to choose now. Still, it's such an amazing and huge difference from who I was and from what I was. And this knowing that it can change, that's such a huge gift. And choosing is being giving me more and more of that.
Amazing. Thank you, Norma. Yes, Doris.
Oh, I love this conversation so much that I just could listen ongoing to everyone of you. That's so amazing. And what it brought me, and the gift of this conversation already, is that from my life, I have always chosen. So this is the difference, but it came from fight and proof. So I have chosen in my life, and I have always known, like looking back, I have always known also when I was a little kid that I have chosen the situations that I had or the family that I lived with. But then ongoing, I now see that a lot of things I have chosen to prove something or to fight against. And this has changed now, or the tools would allow me to choose from a different from possibilities and for the future. And what I want to share today is that I had a conversation yesterday with a woman that reached out to me as a mom. And she makes herself wrong since weeks about what she is going to choose. And she's like, I think I'm the only one. And she spoke about she feels so alone with what is going on in her world. And then we looked at it, and with Francesca starting off the conversation with desiring and the future. So I asked her yesterday, so what will this choice that you already made, what do you know about the future that you haven't acknowledged? And what if, like, if you feel alone is not like really being alone, but is also acknowledging that you bring something into the world that only you can bring into the world, and therefore you feel alone because there is something. She was like, I don't know how, whom to speak with and who would listen to me and have this conversation. And then we looked at it and was like, yeah, but what if it's at the moment it's you having this conversation with you and trust in you that what you are choosing and knowing is the thing that you are you're bringing to the world, and what if this is the gift that you're being? So like with this choice thing, it's like what we said, it's not a wrong or right or how to do it. What if you have already made also choices that you haven't acknowledged? And often there is such an significance on it also. Oh my God, what do I need to choose? And do I choose right? And what choice would I need to make today to create the future that is so amazing? Like, what if we could have the ease of choosing ongoing and also acknowledging what we are already being and have brought to this world? So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, and I love what you said. You bring something only you can bring. So when we're not being who we be, and when we're not choosing for us, the whole world misses out, because there's an energy that you be that's only present in the world when you choose it and when you be you. So Elena, go for it. Were you going to say something?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. On choice, I love a part that is on being you changing the world. It says that people usually confuse choosing with deciding and concluding. And how do you know if you're actually choosing something? And he talks about the lack of charge and the movement of energy. When you choose, there is no charge to it. You choose, and if required, you can choose something again without judging the choice. And choice is like never final. It's a continuous process where you can do it again and again. And for me, it was like when I read that, it was the piece that was missing, because then I decided that, oh, maybe I made a wrong choice, or maybe I am totally stupid. And the other part is weekend is when you are not having any results from your choice, maybe your choice is not big enough. You're just bored because it's not worth it. Because I don't know, creating $20. And what's the difference in the enthusiasm if you create 20 million or 1 million or 20,000? So that's the other part of the difference.
Yes, thank you. Cassie.
Hi, I'm so grateful to be here, and this is really truly such a beautiful conversation. So one thing, and this again, it resonated with everything that everyone was saying, and one thing that really hit me was that the no choice, like really growing up truly believing that I didn't have choice, and then becoming adult and like looking at that, and so something that has really changed for me in my life is actually claiming that I have choice. And speaking with right body for you, like claiming that I'm actually choosing to be here. I'm choosing to have a body. Like next month is Suicide Awareness Month, and some people are not choosing to have a body. And looking at that is really kind of in changing me and my perspective of my choice to be here. Like every day I choose to have a body. Every day I choose to be here. Every day I choose to talk to my body, include my body, create my life. And you're right. It's sometimes it isn't like with a bunch of charge, it's just really easy. And sometimes it is like that choice, like, you know what? I'm choosing to be here. I'm choosing to create. I'm choosing beyond whatever this is. And there was such potency for me when I really got to that space, because I would say even in my 20s and I still didn't actually get that I had choice. No matter what, it was like, well, the government tells us what to do. Well, my boss tells me what to do. Like all these people are more dominant than me. They all have power over me. I don't have choice. And when I got to that space where I was able to acknowledge that no matter what, I have choice. I always have choice. It just changed so much for me and changed so much with me and my body.
Thank you. That is amazing. And it's in claiming your choice, you're claiming your potency. You're actually claiming the greatness of you, the potency of you. You're committing to your life. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have all kinds of specialties represented here. And I would love, I know we've sort of kind of woven into the conversation, the specialties, but I would love to ask, like, specifically with regards to your specialty, what would you like to say either about a tool you like to use with choice or a story or an example of something having to do with choice relating to your specialty? So who would like to kick it off? Diva.
Hi. I'm so grateful for this conversation. So I'm representing X-Men, which is super cool and awesome, and check it out. And one thing that I have noticed with X-Men is that we are so acutely aware of what everyone would choose, could choose, might choose, has chosen, perhaps in 20 years would think about choosing for 4 seconds over coffee and then quickly change their mind because it's wrong. And basically all of the bajillion possibilities that exist. And sometimes that can seem quite overwhelming. And it can kind of put you in this space of where you just kind of stay frozen. I personally stay like frozen in space and just like don't move in any direction because it's so much information. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all of those are cognitive awarenesses. Like as an X-Men, as somebody who's highly perceptive, which will often, end up in being labeled with some kind of developmental disability, and also often not. But what happens is that all of that awareness is energetic. So it's something that you can't explain, you can't rationalize, you have no idea why you feel this way or why you're having these doubts or thinking these things. And when you start to recognize like that you have choice that's different than all of the noise that's around you, that's really different than all of that energetic awareness that you have that is nonverbal, the energetic awareness that you have, of the world around you. To me, the gift has been to recognize that is the choice, to either listen to that and make that more real and more valuable than you, or to make the choice in that moment, not necessarily to know what you want to choose, not necessarily to choose to like conquer all the planets in the galaxy. It doesn't need to be anything super fancy. It doesn't even need to be what trousers you're wearing that day, but it's just the choice to go, actually, do you know what? Like you were saying before, Marnie, like there's all this stuff, there's all this noise, all this hustle and bustle going on. What would I like to choose today? Like if I couldn't fail, if I couldn't get it wrong, if I was willing to get it wrong also, because how often do we try and make the right choice? Like I have lived like 99.9999999999999 to infinity% of my life on that. Just make sure you make the right choice that everyone will approve of, But when you start to recognize that, that is like a huge step in choosing. Like choosing isn't choosing the rest of your life in advance. Choosing is choosing to take one step and the next step. And that step might just be to say, okay, apparently today I'm having a day where I am so aware of everything that's going on in everyone's universe that could be a choice, that could be good, could be terrible, all of this stuff. And if I could still be aware of that and still choose for me and still choose my reality, what might that be? Universe, could you help me out? Could you show me in a really clear way? Because apparently I don't always get it very easily. So that is a tool that I love to use and that I use a lot. So yeah.
Thank you for that. So everywhere we're not willing to get it wrong, can we destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. Thank you, Diva. Who else?
This is such an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful. It's every piece of information. It's golden, right? And they're all connected. I mean, Susie was talking about, you know, when you say don't, how many of us make choices based on that don't, you know? And our bodies, most people's bodies are the object of the don'ts, of the, you know, judgments. And people are choosing from a place, right? A limited place with confines and barriers of that don't universe, of that limitation, of that this is what I don't want. So therefore, I chose my first husband that way. 10 years later, I hope you're faster than me. And I am everything I don't want. Well, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want that. Check, he's got it, right? And and so there's the beauty of these tools of access, that the body classes, the advanced body classes, the body process classes, is that we ease that judgment out of our bodies, that rigidity out of our bodies with which we have been choosing and creating the sort of house of sand, crystal, whatever it is, it's not the space, and the ease and the joy and the glory that we know, thanks to these tools, is possible. So it's just such a conglomerate of a great conversation here. And the body process, like you said, Marnie, having that ease in your body, and also, I don't remember who said it. Was it Cassie? No, someone said about when you make a choice, there's no charge on it. Blanca said it. There's no charge on it. And where's the charge? In the body, the electricity, in the lack of polarity. And I don't know if any of this is making sense, but the body can so help you to know when it's ease. EASE, right? And you're choosing in every 10 seconds, one of the 10 commandments of access, right? And Susie was talking about that too. In every 10 seconds, what gives you and your body greater ease, greater expansion. It just makes life so easy, so much easier. So yeah, get your body. Get your
Totally.
body
And
in your life.
yes, I have to say this really quick because it ties in. I was walking through the mall, this was a while ago, just walking, and all of a sudden my body just did this complete, like, relax. And 15 seconds later, I get the scent of something that just was the yummiest smell ever. But my body perceived it before my sense of smell told me it was there. And I went, oh, I get it. You're aware of it before I catch up later, right? So how much can your body actually lead the way? Just like the horse for Armina led the way for showing how quick choice can be. How much can our bodies be like, hey, let me show you what I know about choice. Love it. Who else?
There's this cool thing that horses also do with choice. They're very present. They're present with the universe. They're present with all things, and they're in communion with it. They don't choose from the past. They don't make a choice based on past decisions. They'll learn from their choices and receive the information from it, but they don't go back and make choices based on their past mistakes. There was no mistake. Would it be easier to make a choice? and they choose to create it. Yeah, all of that.
All of that, yeah.
Great, good, bad, bad, So it's like they're very present. They'll be present and to make choices for what they're creating to be in the future, to survive, and they're very present with the energy of everything around them.
Yes, thank you. Who else?
Yes, it's as well your choice how you use your voice, and how you use it and if you use it. Because if you use your voice against your knowing, you choose against your being and your ability to express yourself. And this has as well something to do with your body, because when your voice is not expressing that what you really want to say, so you keep something back because of maybe you want to fit into something or in somebody else's expectations, then your whole body gets pressure and you get tight, for example, and you don't know how to express yourself, for example, on stage, in a meeting or something like that. I did that a lot as well in relationships. When you say, okay, it's fine for me. So you express something which is not really your point of view, your own being. And so it's same what Cass as well said. If you put tension in your body, you can't express yourself. So right voice for you goes so good together with every body process, because then you release the tension in the body and you release your voice as well. And the more you release your voice, the more it opens up your body. And so I love to do exercises as well with the body during Right Voice for You classes, because then it shifts so a lot. And the question I'm always asking is, what if you would fuck up everything on stage? So you have right away a new choice to go over and over again and just choose to experience yourself. And yeah, in the very beginning, the participants always are hesitating. And after a few while, they have so much fun and the bodies are changing and the voices are changing. The voices are going deeper. And as well, especially women, when they are afraid for something, they have a high voice. So they can experience that they can express anger or whatever and really have the power, the voice and the body together. And I love this together. So I love this tools as well.
Cool. So everywhere any of us put ourselves on lockdown, try to put ourselves into the box of someone else's desires and requires and expectations, rather than having the fullness of our being and choosing what we desire, can we destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. Cool. So who else? What other specialty? Shayna.
Okay, so I'm here representing Wealth Creators Anonymous, which is kind of funny because I think a lot of us come to this conclusion, I guess, that we have this lot in life, and for me, wealth was something I never thought I could choose, and choice, all of a sudden, I can see that I can choose anything. You can choose anything, like everything is available to you, and I think before, choice was something that was kind of stressful because there was this limited box of things I could choose from. Like I was choosing from the humble box and the comfortable box, the box where I just had enough. And now all of a sudden, we're choosing cars with leather seats and velvet bedding. And before, like that was too fancy for us or too sexy for us. Like I think realizing that I can choose anything, like we can all choose anything is the biggest thing about choice that Wealth Creators Anonymous is creating in my life.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Who else?
I'd like to speak for being you. Yes. So we spoke so many times about being very quick in knowing, finding out what others need, what other people require, and all of that. And even a while ago, so we have this thing about codependency also, so it's the other first, that kind of thing. So a question, this is the tool I'd like to give you from Being You, a question that has really, really been of such great help for me. If you were truly being you, what would you choose? If I was truly being me in this situation, what would I choose? So this is something that is amazing for me to find out what is my space, what's my awareness, what my choices are. If you were truly being you, what would you choose?
An awesome question. Thank you, Norma. So what about joy of business? I know some of us on here represent more than one specialty. So if anybody want to speak a business tool? Because Francesca had to hop off early, but I know we have other joy of business facilitators.
What I really like about joy of business is this idea of your life is your business. So if you start choosing for your life, how much can you create in all realms of your life, and stop separating these drawers, no? Like you have the work drawer and the family drawer and the have fun drawer. What if we could create bigger everywhere just by the choices that makes, like, have this enthusiasm, that have this energy that makes you happy, basically, that makes you joyful.
So you're saying business can be happy?
Jesus, and fun. It's so weird.
Surprise. Oh, CPCK, Conscious Parents, Conscious Kids. Anybody got one for that?
That's me again.
Do you have something, Doris? Otherwise, I'll pop in.
Yeah, do. Go for it, please.
So one of the things as a parent, we're very, very much taught to teach our children to make the correct choices and not the bad choices. And it's our job to get them to eat right and, do their homework and blah, 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 blah. So I have a friend who, he actually was watching a lot of things online with Access before he took his first class, but hearing the tools and playing with the tools. And he heard me talk about letting your kids choose. Let your kids choose. Teach them to be aware of what their choice creates. You don't have to tell them what they should eat. So his daughter, who's 5, he had just tucked her in bed, and she gets up, she comes out, and she goes, "Dad, I need something to eat." So he starts rattling off, well, you can have an apple, you can have an orange, you can have, all of the things that we say are healthy. And she's like, "Nope, I would like some candy. I want candy. My body needs candy." And he's got all of his upbringing and everything that goes, "That's terrible. That's a bad parent. You shouldn't do it." And he's like, "All right, I'm going to try what Marnie says. I think it's crazy, but I'm going to try it." So he's like, "All right." So he gets out the bag of candy and goes, "All right, take some candy." And he goes, he said to her, "But just pay attention. Ask your body how many pieces of candy it would like." And he thinks, I just turned a kid loose in a candy store. She's going to take the whole bag. I'm going to wake up in the morning to a sick kid with candy wrappers everywhere. She counts out 1, 2. They're like the little mini, Snicker things. 1, 2, takes 3, puts that one back. "Yeah, just 2, Dad." Takes it off the wrappers, eats it, and goes to bed. And he's like, "Oh my God, I thought if I gave them choice, they would just completely go crazy." And he said, "She's actually aware." I said, "Who knew?" So when we give our kids choice and sometimes they will make choices that don't work for them, but then they know that that choice didn't work for them. And you can never, ever, ever take that awareness away from them. You don't have to tell them what to do. Let them choose and let them be aware of what their choice creates. Cool. So we are actually 1 minute over, but I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's listening in on this call and to all of you amazing facilitators. I know I say this every time, but I am always blown away at the brilliance. You guys are amazing. And it makes me happy, and I have so much gratitude to know that you are in the world, being you in the world, and creating your life from these tools that are absolutely amazing, and inviting other people to do that. So you can find these facilitators. You can find other facilitators of these specialties as well. Just go to the Access Consciousness website, look up specialty topics, and you'll see classes on all of these various topics with all kinds of facilitators around the world. And what else is possible when we actually choose, and I'm going to say what Cassie said, claim your choice. Because when you claim your choice, you're claiming your potency, you're claiming your greatness, and you're claiming that there's nobody greater than you that can make anything happen to you. You get to choose it and therefore create it. And how does it get better than that? So we will be back doing another, how does it, right? Yes. So we will be back here, I believe it's September the 6th at the same time, and we'll do call number 3 on possibilities. So you will get a follow-up email that has this replay and an invitation to the next one if you'd like to join us.
Can I just thank you so much, everyone, and Marnie. Can I just add, like, on one note, in the Right Words for You, absolutely brand new masterclass manual. The goal of Right Voice for You classes, or these classes, is to get you to the point where you go, fuck it, and you go ahead and stand up and do it anyway.
Yay! I like it. So there you go. Fuck it, stand up and do it anyway.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Oh no, they can't take that away from you.